The mics are picking that up.
Yes, I heard that.
Well, hello, welcome to Real Estate for Real, the very first episode of 2025.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Happy to be joined by Shelley Berendt. Shelley,
Hello.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
So I sent out an email to our entire office, and I said, I want to talk to everybody. I want to hear everybody's story. I want to talk about real estate with everybody. It's like a promotional thing. You put it out there to your clients too. And I got a few people nominating other agents, but I only got one to say, I think I maybe want to do it.
It was a rare moment of bravery. And then about an hour after I sent it, I thought, oh, what
Immediate
did you
regret.
do?
Yes. It's not that bad, but so we've been trying to, this was last year, so we've been trying to set a time. We emailed back and forth a little bit, but I finally got you to commit.
Yes. He pulled me in the room. Yes.
Now you said you wanted to listen to all the other ones before you came on.
I did not get a chance to listen to all of them, but I listened to Josh Cruz,
Okay.
Ketke, Busher, and Julie Vano.
Okay.
So, and I'm eager. I think the next one I'll listen to is Coker.
Yeah. Coker's great. Yeah.
Poor girl.
Did you know her name's Ashley?
I heard that once, actually.
She texted me a few days ago. I think she was listening to the one I did with Mike Busher with some laughy faces. It was like, I didn't even know her name was Ashley. Everybody just calls her Coker.
She's just Coker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So what do you want to talk about?
Oh, I thought you came up with the questions, mister. My stomach just dropped.
I know. I did that on purpose, and I'm sorry. It's funny for me. We hung out a little bit last night.
We did. It was fun.
It was our company winter social. This is very cool.
Oh, they did a fabulous job on that party last night.
Are you not part of it? I thought when I talked to you, you said you were going to set up for it.
So I am on the social committee,
Okay.
and I am telling you, that is a committee full of workhorses.
So by they, you mean you.
I mean everybody else in the room other than me, because I have had my hand in past parties, but this one I just couldn't get to. I mean, before we started, I was making phone calls for this closing that is supposed to happen tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's supposed to happen tomorrow?
It's supposed to happen tomorrow.
Okay,
and
we'll circle back. Keep talking about the party.
So because I was drowning in all of these closing details, I was not able to set up. And then, so I thought, well, I'll just take down, I'll help on the other side of it. Well, that didn't happen either, because my husband was ready to go, and
your husband's awesome. We sat at the same table, my wife Amanda and I, and your husband Jeff.
I loved meeting your wife. I'd never met her
sweet,
before.
Right?
She is.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's like, I don't want to drag you down and get in your way. I feel like you'd be out talking. I was like, no, I just want to sit down.
Yes.
And that's it. I'm not trying to bounce around. I don't do, I think the last one of these parties I went to was maybe the 25th, anniversary, at Panther.
Yeah, that was the fancy one.
Yeah. I don't know that I've been to one since. I might have popped into one at the Creek.
Is that, you're not a big group person? Is that why?
It's not even that. I don't know. I'm trying to be better about it. The longer I've been doing this, the more I've actually been I should establish some relationships with my coworkers and come around and be part of things a little bit.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
Because when I started real estate, I started when my youngest went to kindergarten. And so I had 3 small children. I have 3 girls.
Okay. Ooh.
And
that's a lot.
And I just needed to come and do the work. I did not want to hang out with the people that I was going to be competing with. And I had homework, I had sports, I had gymnastics, and my husband and I, we worked opposite shifts. I was in real estate, he was in restaurant, and restaurant schedules, if you've ever been involved in that.
Well, I did tell you before we started recording that I am a 2-time silver spatula winner for McDonald's. But
What does that mean? Does that mean you've ordered so much from them? Or you were a star employee?
I was a star employee.
Oh, good for you.
I was a star employee. Yeah, 3 years throughout. From 14 to 17, I worked at McDonald's.
Silver spatula.
Yeah.
So that's what's called silver spatula?
That's what I called it. It was just called Employee of the Month. But you got a plaque with a silver spatula on it, so I call myself a 2-time silver spatula.
Do you still have that plaque?
No, it's from the 90s. It was not that well made.
Is that on your LinkedIn profile?
I don't know that I have one of those. I should probably.
Oh, okay. We need to have a longer conversation about these
things. It's on my
things.
Facebook profile, I think, that I've.
Okay. Well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Yeah, proud of it. That, I was also the 1998 Glenwood High School PE Student of the Year, so I brag about that a lot, too.
How does one come into that accolade?
Dominate.
Meaning like everybody else is on the floor and you're the last one standing? That's what I'm picturing. You were just a bully.
No.
And they rewarded that back then?
No, the kids now would call it a try hard. I was a try hard.
Okay.
When it was like, all right, class badminton. And I'm like, oh. Then I would dominate badminton.
I'm getting the full picture now.
I'm wired. I've calmed down in my older age. But when I was a teenager, I went hard. I wanted silver spatulas and I wanted PE Student of the Year awards.
Okay. So whatever it was, whatever the goal, whatever the...
Yes.
Whatever it was, you were going full court press.
I don't like how this has turned around on me. Let's get back. What were we doing? We were talking about you. You've got some kids?
Oh,
We already did the me episode. Keki interviewed me. I was
I am
uncomfortable.
a master at turning the tables.
Yeah.
My husband will tell you so.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So, yes, young mom, busy mom, and doing real estate with small kids is really, really hard. You were pulled in a million different directions, and your mind is always scattered in all of these different areas. But I did not have the time to hang out with realtors, and I did not see the benefit of it either because I am working for my family. So when I'm not working, why do I want to be with work people? I want to be with my family. However, I get through some of those, well, they're all trying years.
Right.
It never stops, really. But just a little bit more seasoned in the business. And I started realizing that the realtors who, in quotation marks, partied together, they would do deals together before anybody else even knew that there was a deal to be done.
Yes.
So I was this, you have my work self and my friend self and then my mom and my responsibilities. And at work, you stand tall and you exude confidence, and that's your work self. And people don't need to know, the Shelley who doesn't know how to spell, or, just all of the weirdness of me.
I also won a couple spelling bees.
Oh, I cannot spell. For all of you who get texts from me, clients, family members, realtors, I'm sorry. And actually what I do is I just voice text and then say, oh, by the way, I'm voice texting, so if anything's weird, just ignore it. Not my fault.
Yeah. So I'm glad that because that, like, literally same with, because when I started, and now my kids we talked about this last night a little bit, they're 21, 18, 16. Mm-hmm. But when I started, it was 11 years ago, so you're not great at spelling, but maybe you can math a little bit. What's that like?
I can math a little bit.
10, 7, 5. When I started.
I math that I'm older than you. That's all I got from that.
Okay. But I'm not like young. I'm mid-40s. I'm not like a baby.
I am now the average age of realtors.
You're the average age of realtors?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's not a proper question to be like, how old are you?
I did bait you, though.
Yeah, you did. And so just so long as you put that out there, that you set me up for this.
I did, and I will say it was a fair question from where I led you.
Okay.
So last year, at the end of last year, I turned 50.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you do anything fun?
my husband and I both were a month apart. And so we kind of spent the whole year gearing up to, yay, we're 50 and we're going to take this on. We're going to do something epic and cool. We got to that point of the year and our big birthdays were totally eclipsed by unforeseen circumstances that led us to kind of like cancel everything and just bear down and get through it.
Sometimes.
Yeah, life happens. So we forewent our 50 trips and events, and so
took a nap.
We took many naps. We needed many naps. But then this, like, first week of January, we just, I was kind of lamenting, just pity party, feeling sorry for myself. Like, I didn't get to go to, my trip for my birthday. And so we're going to Cabo next week.
There you go. Well,
just the two of us.
That's awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. I'll be 45 this year, so we're not too far off.
No, we're not too far off.
We're not too far off. And it seems like we got into real estate like kind of at the same point in our lives, maybe a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So like my kids were young, and it was kind of the same thing where I saw, I had people that I was friendly with and I got along with, but I didn't really see the benefit of, like, people are a competition. Yes. It's such a weird business that we're in because our coworkers are people at the same office, same team, direct competition. Direct competition. Weird.
And if we do a deal together, we're on opposite sides.
Yes. But working for the same goal.
Working for the same goal from different perspectives.
Yes.
And, you mentioned in another of the podcasts that just because a realtor on the other end is a friend of yours does not mean that the deal's going to go great, or does not ever mean that I don't negotiate any differently with my friends than I do with somebody that I don't know.
No. But I feel like, and this is another thing I feel like I've learned too, like the importance of socializing and like actually letting people get to know you, and not just, when you make an offer on something, and that it's like that stuff can go smoother. And forget about the in-house deals that, well, how come I didn't even, see that house at the market? Well, so-and-so are friends and they just put it together, which I feel is a huge disservice to your clients. I'll say that. But.
Oh, I disagree.
Really? Don't you think that it is in a seller's best interest to let their house hit the open market?
It depends on what those sellers' goals are. If that seller needs to get out of that house as quickly as possible, if that seller doesn't want the world to know that they are selling or moving,
right?
In most cases, when we just want to get the highest dollar with the most exposure, yes.
Right.
But the argument that realtors will just throw out there that, well, that's not in the seller's best interest. Well, I'm sorry, you don't know what my seller's interests are.
So in a general sense, right? Obviously, yes. It involves like everything, communication. You talk to and a lot of times the seller will be like, well, do you have anybody for it? And you'll be like, actually, yeah, I do. And sometimes I do. And even though that might be better for me, I'll say, but depending, but we should really let this hit the market unless you just want to be done with this quick. But you might be leaving money on the table by just getting this together quick. And if that's what they want, fine, but I think it's our job to explain to them.
I totally agree.
They could definitely be leaving money on the table by not letting everyone see it. And if they're okay with that,
yes,
then fine.
And I'll talk to my seller and say, listen, you decide the strategy. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of either side of it.
Pros and cons. Yeah. It was theme of the night last night at the dinner table. It's pros and cons. It's what led you guys to the dinner table last night, right?
Yes.
Pros and cons.
Again,
make a list.
I RSVP'd, and then at the last minute, and it's January. It is cold.
Yes.
I right now am in 2 layers of wool and have 2 more layers on the side just in case I get cold. So it is cold, and I'm wrapped up in layers, and it's time to get ready. And I just say, oh, Jeff, I don't think I want to go. And he's like, whatever you want. I said, no. You need to discuss this with me. So we had to go pros and cons.
I feel like we do parallel. Like, we have these conversations all the time where we're getting ready to do something. I'll be like, I don't want to go. I don't have anything to wear. I don't want to go. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, okay, we'll stay home. Whoa. Hold on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was fast.
I mean, we can. I don't care.
Let's negotiate.
Yeah. You want to have the conversation.
I do. Even if you don't care how it ends, I want the walkthrough. I want the journey of the decision.
Here's the thing. We know how it ends. We're going.
Yeah.
Like, if you have plans to go, how many times have you had plans to go do something and then actually canceled 30 minutes before you were supposed to leave? Like, never.
Right.
You're going.
Yes.
You just have those last minute freakouts of maybe I'm not, maybe we shouldn't, but really you're going to go.
And the whole time I knew that. In the way back of my mind, I'm like, it doesn't matter that you don't want to go. You said you're going to go. You need to go.
You're going.
You know, you're on the committee. You're a partner. You're all of these reasons why I needed to go. So
when you've been married a long time, your husband just goes, yeah, okay, fine. We won't. Because it's the same conversation we've had 100 times. And we always end up going.
Well, the clincher was, if we don't go, you have to figure out what we're having for dinner.
Oh.
Like, okay, I'll go get ready then.
That's the worst.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why dinner comes as a surprise every day.
I hate it.
Who decided we needed to eat 3 times a day? Why can't it just be once and just get it done?
We all the time, like, it'll be the middle of the day, be like, let's just not eat. Like, I'm so over food, nothing sounds good. I don't want to make anything. I don't want to order anything. But then we always get hungry.
Always, yeah. Then that 9:30 tummy growl comes in, and then you don't make good choices at that point. But to circle around, we're way off.
Okay.
Circling back around to the original discussion about being friends with our people. I think it was... for years, you know, I did some committees at the association, and so I was involved in the business, and I thought that was good enough. And then I met the Grady girls.
Oh.
And man, those girls know how to have a good time. And it is hard not to want to be in that circle once you kind of get a whiff and the feel of it. They are just carefree, and a good time is always around them.
Yeah, they are awesome. I've got a deal right now going with Cindy, who's great, and I think I need to reach out to Missy because I think she agreed to come on here.
I heard her agree to it last night.
So you're a witness.
Witness.
Okay, so I will, you know, and we took off last time. My wife was like, we should have hung out a little bit longer. You could have booked up like the next 8 podcasts. Yeah, probably so, but it was like 9:30. I was tired. I was ready to go lay down.
I think I left before you did.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, it was about,
maybe about the same.
Yeah,
we
about
ghosted.
the same time. Yeah, me too. Like, if you're not within my path of getting out the door, then I'm not saying bye. I'm not going to go make the rounds. I'll be there another 45 minutes.
Exactly.
So,
yes.
Coat on, walking towards the door, whoever is in the way.
Yeah.
See you later.
Just wave behind your head as you walk out the door.
Yep. Yeah, that's how we do it. See? Parallel. Okay, so it's a real estate podcast.
Oh, we're going to talk about real estate now? Okay.
I guess. I mean, we're about 20 minutes in. We should maybe.
What do you want to talk about?
Now, tell me if you don't want to talk about this, but you and I did a deal together. It was a house in Chatham, and tell me if you remember this. It was on Parkview, over off of like South Main. And this is a couple of years ago. And I had the listing, and it was a very hot listing.
Yes. Now I remember. I know where you're going.
Okay.
Yes.
You did something. You got the offer accepted.
I did. I played dirty.
It was a bit unconventional. Do you not want to talk about this? You didn't do anything wrong. Just for the record, you didn't do anything. You said you played dirty. It wasn't anything like dirty.
No.
It was a really, really good like move that you did to get the house for your clients. And
I had a client who, I love it when they look at me and they say, Shelley, get me this house.
Yeah.
Okay. let's play.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You did. It was awesome. Like, I was like, oh, so many people were mad at me, just so you know.
Yes.
So many.
You called me. I remember that phone conversation, and you said, okay, Shelley, I mean, this deal is really good, but I got to tell you how many people are going to be mad at me. And I said, Eric, I am kind of sorry, but just sign on the dotted line.
I had to make 18 phone calls.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't do like mass text. I don't text, hey, sorry. You know, I had to call and be like, hey, listen. Because, and so that was the very last time that I put a listing out there on the front end and said, showings through the weekend, we'll view all offers Monday at 5. I quit doing that after that deal.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, because that's not how it always happens. Because nothing stops your seller from taking an offer.
Correct.
And shutting everything down.
Which is what happened.
Which is what happened. And even though I told my sellers, we've got a lot of other people coming through. I mean, it was a great offer, don't get me wrong, but the way that you structured it.
So are you getting into details?
If
that's fine.
It's up to you, because it was
we're not still in that exact market. If we were there, I would say, let's keep this in our pockets here. But at this point,
because it was a move, like, for instance, I've got a move when I attach escalation clauses to contracts that's got me a few, you know, but it's my trick that not a lot of people do. And it's got me a few houses for my clients, and they thank me for it later. And so I don't like giving out my secrets necessarily, but also at the same time, the whole point of the podcast is talk about how the business works.
We want to offer some value to keep them coming back.
There you go. Right. And we should always be evolving and bettering ourselves and bringing up the people around us and bringing up the industry. That's kind of my thought. So it's like, okay, if I've learned something, then share it.
Sure.
So when I attach escalation clauses, I never land on a round number. Whatever number that my clients say, okay, this is my top dollar, we add 500, or we, you know, something like that, where, and I've gotten a few houses like, you actually beat the other offer by $500, so you got it.
I've won escalation clauses by $150.
Right. You never land on, everybody lands on a round number.
Yeah, everybody meets in the middle.
Yep.
And lands on a round number.
Always. Yeah, you got to think outside the box a little bit. And so, do you remember what you did to get this house in Chatham?
I know we had a really strong over asking, and we had an earnest money amount, and then I put a second earnest money amount that your sellers could keep if they accepted our offer and took it off the market.
There it was. That was what did it right there.
We gave them what they wanted, and then we gave them a shiny carrot. To just ignore everybody else.
And at that point, the reason it worked so well, because it was more than they were already thinking they were going to get. But at that point, they had been out of their house for an entire day, forced out of their house for an entire day.
Right.
And the next 2 days, it was going to be more of the same. They had kids, you know, dogs.
Listing a house is stressful.
It is. And so they thought, okay, you know, do we go through this for the next couple days, you know, wrestling with life and kids and dogs, or do we just take this offer that's right here in front of us that is more than what we thought we were going to get anyway? And that's what they decided.
Which goes back to your seller's best interests.
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
sure some people might have said to you, well, this isn't in your seller's best interests. Leave it on the market for 3 more days. They might get more.
Which is true, which is what I told my sellers. But it didn't matter. It's what they wanted.
Right.
But it's all about that communication with your clients is the thing, right? A lot of times they will listen to us, and these are my favorite ones, who will listen to us because they're like, whatever you think. I mean, should we take this? Should we offer more? What should we do? You know, and it's that kind of trust that they should have, because if you're looking out for their best interest, then right. And so it's all about that communication. But I mapped it, laid it out for them. I say, we've got, you know, literally like 20 more showings lined up. It will probably get a bit up higher than this right here.
But my offer put cash in their pocket.
Yeah. Right. And it allowed them to just get back to life and be done with it. And there was value in that to them. So well done. It was a great move.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I know the people who bought that house, and I knew their reasoning behind wanting that house was moving enough for them to, to make it worth the seller's while.
It was a cool house.
And I get, so I have 2 cousins who are realtors, one in Arizona and one in Oklahoma City. And one is my Arizona cousin, she's in Mesa, and she's a team lead. And then my cousin in Oklahoma City, she is a managing broker of 3 offices. But she used to sell. So we get together, and I learn strategies that they do in their markets. And then I bring them over here. I'm like, okay.
Smart.
Yes. Oh, I love getting tidbits from them. And then they take some from me every now and then, too.
I mean, every market has got to be different, right? And kind of like... because it's a bit of a copycat industry anyway, like
sure.
what people do and what they use, and it's like that's why when people like get together at these conferences and talk to other realtors from like across the country, they learn stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I should open up my mind to maybe learning things.
Negotiating tactics from other markets is phenomenal. And I learned about an escalation clause from somebody outside of our market. And I remember the first 2 that I put on contracts. The agent said, "What is this? You can't do this. This isn't fair. This isn't about being fair. This is about getting the house for my buyer and your seller getting money. My offer's better." Or I had somebody say that, "Oh, my broker won't let me present this way." I said, "Yes, they will."
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Why would you not?
They didn't understand it. They didn't know how to explain it, and
something new and different.
And look at us now with escalation clause.
They're all over the place.
All over.
What I'll never do is, when we write an offer, even if the other agent is like, we've got a lot of other interest, if they don't have any other offers in hand, I never send over an escalation clause.
Oh no, and that's for your buyer, right?
Right. Yeah,
For
the
sake of your buyer?
Yeah, but we'll fill it out and have it ready, and I'll tell the other agent, here's our offer. Let me know if any more come in. And then once more come in, then I'll send it over.
Yeah,
But you don't want to show your hand when you're the only player.
And there are some agents who will take the top dollar of your escalation and say, okay, pay us that.
Exactly. You're showing your hand.
And they have every right to do that.
Of course they do.
That is absolutely.
Yeah, but that's... And... The only thing, you run that risk sometimes, though, of, you'll have these agents where you'll show the house and you'll say, hey, my people like it. Let me know if anybody makes an offer, if anybody's interested. And then they'll sell it without getting back to you. Mm-hmm. And then you got to go to your buyer and be like, well, I told them, and I hate to throw somebody under the bus, but they didn't do the best service for their seller. They just sold it without letting me know when I specifically said, we have interest. Let me know if you get an offer.
There are a lot of common courtesies between agents that we tend to depend on sometimes more than what we should. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're there and we expect it. That's what we want to offer them, and that's what we want offered us when we're on the other side of the deal. But it's always what is going through the mind of that particular client. And I've had ones before where the seller gets a contract and they say, oh, I remember them when they were kids, and I want them to have this house.
Sure.
Take it off the market. But we have other offers. We have bigger offers. Nope. I want them to have the house. So I said, well, what about the people who called me 2 days ago, said that they're still thinking about it? Nope, I want them to have this house.
Doesn't matter.
We never know. And it's hard. Oh, it's been so hard on buyers the past few years with all of the heartaches and lost deals. And every time I meet with the buyer first time, I say, listen, this is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh.
Hopes and dreams and anxieties and tensions, they go up, they go down, they go up, and they go down. And I'm here with you the whole ride, but it's going to be a ride.
Yeah.
And if you say that in the beginning, then when you call them with the bad news, like, okay, we're still on this roller coaster here.
I hate that. That's the worst, is delivering bad news is like my least favorite part of the job. But in those instances, right, when that does happen, like if I have the listing and I have an agent say, my people are interested, let me know. And then an offer comes in and my seller just wants to take it. Like, I'll at least make that phone call.
Yes.
Right. And I'll be like, okay, sorry, I know your people are interested, but they got an offer they wanted to jump on. Just so you know, I didn't forget about you. That's not what this was.
Yes. I'm
just doing what they told me to do. At least make that phone call. It's the courtesies that we should offer up to each other.
Because that's still, if that's between you and I call you and say, my seller's taken this deal,
yeah.
and if I'm able to tell you why they took it, I mean, we have a lot of confidential issues that we're dealing with, but if
Sure.
I'm giving you something, that still allows you to be a hero to your buyers, saying, listen, this is going to go pending. This is why we couldn't have even competed with that. So we're just going to move on. Instead of them seeing it on Zillow and angry texting you, and then they're going through all of those emotions.
Yes. Oh, I hate the angry texts.
I hate the angry text. Here's what I have learned also with the business is I would get bad news and I would try to settle it in my own mind.
Okay.
And like, okay, well, how am I going to deliver this? And if it came in late at night, I didn't want to bother them. I didn't want them to lose sleep. So I'll call them in the morning.
So you lose sleep yourself instead.
So I am losing sleep. I am owning it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this business will just drain you of your essence and eat you alive.
That might be the title.
And if you're
of the
studying
episode.
to get your license right now, just know it's extremely rewarding. But what I learned is this is my job. It's not my life. I'm not the one buying and selling here. These are not my dreams and my savings. It's
right.
theirs. So it does the deal the best, and it does my mind the best too. I get the news, and then like you'd said it before in another podcast, you don't always deliver it the way it's delivered to you because we're managing emotions. I am going to get that news to them as soon as I can.
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to deal with it. And I have removed myself out of the emotions of, I'm still empathetic, but I can't be in the pit with them and still serve them well.
Yeah, and it's like that looming thing to that looming phone call that you know you have to make.
Yes.
And the longer you put it off, the heavier of a burden it kind of weighs on you. Mm-hmm. And so best to just get it over with. And like you said, it's not you. You're not, like, you don't want your clients to be going through these tough times, but at the same time, like, you're not being hit with the repair addendum with 16 items on it. You're not,
Mm-hmm.
We're just the ones who have to deliver the message and help people work through it, but it's not us. But we carry it.
Yes.
It will drain you of your essence, I think, as you said. It's such an emotional job because, like, when people are so happy and ecstatic about whatever part of the transaction that, buyer seller, they're so, like, you share that with them.
Absolutely.
Like, the highs are really high.
And that's the addictive part.
Yes. And the lows are really low, and you feel all of it with your clients. And that makes it hard. I had no idea getting in that.
None of us did.
Yeah, that, you're going through the course and you're studying and you're going through the book and you're taking the little quizzes, and then at no point are they like how emotionally stable are you? Are you know what I mean? At no point in the book is it like how, do you sleep okay normally, or
mm-hmm.
Do you carry things around because you have somebody you can talk to?
Or how about this? How well can you read a room?
Oh yeah.
You've walked into, or we've met people at houses or walked into houses, and there's a tension. And,
yes.
There's some bickering back and forth, like in the undercurrents of the conversation. And you're just like, okay, I don't know who's in charge here. I don't know who's making the decisions. And I feel like I am here just as a ricocheting negativity off of me because something's going on. Anyway, reading
Yeah.
the room and there's so many things in our classes they never taught
Who
us.
knows? And right now, my oldest is studying to get his license.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, but like,
I think he's more prepared than any of us were
than
because he's
most.
watched you do it.
Exactly. And that's like the people, like I've got, next week, I've got Crystal and Anthony Busher coming on together, right? And Anthony grew up obviously in the business. And when I talked to Josh, kind of the same thing, like you're so much more equipped to deal with what this is.
Agreed.
When you grow up as a kid with a parent doing it. Like I had no idea what I was getting into. So anyhow, I like it, thankfully. But I have a lot of nights where I don't sleep, like at all. I'll be maybe an hour or two because I just have whatever's going on is just weighing on me so bad. And it's
not just nights. It's school programs. It's getting on a plane while you are texting furiously or making these communications, contracts, closings, and then you get on a plane and the whole plane ride, I'm worried about what's happening while I'm in the air and can't talk to anybody.
Right.
And usually when I'm on a plane ride, I'm getting away from talking to everybody.
No.
And when you had Josh on, you talked about vacation and you just work on vacation.
Yeah. Got one coming up.
That, yes. And you know what? That's I don't want that. I want freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom from the emotional ties and I think me being somewhat empathetic and professionally emotionally involved makes me good at what I do because I care about the people. However, that takes it takes a pound of flesh out of our own lives, which is why getting away is important to me. This is my 20th year of real estate.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of milestones recently. Turned 50, married 30 years, 20 years in real estate. That's just
awesome.
It's just big. And I just being released from everybody else's worries and concerns for 2 days, 3 days, you come back, your cup is filled, you're ready to go out there and...
We take a family trip every year. My lineage, my ancestors come from like Tennessee, the mountains in Tennessee. So every year, my whole life, we've been going to hang out in like the Smoky Mountains on this big lake in Tennessee.
Okay.
And while you're on this lake...
Is that where the blue people come from?
The what?
The blue people? Weren't they hailing from the mountains of Tennessee?
The blue people?
Mm-hmm. No, you're looking at me, so that's
do
no.
I know what you're talking about? I feel like
okay.
I should
well,
know, but
maybe
I
it's
don't
not
know.
the Tennessee mountains. No, there's an actual historical record of blue people.
Oh.
It's a rare blood disorder.
Oh.
And they're in one of the southern mountainous. They were really pushed up way in the mountains.
I don't know that I have any of the blues in my lineage, but
Okay.
I'll take a look.
Okay, take a look. And get back to us here on this podcast.
But when we're on this lake, it's big mountains. I've got no service. I can't be plugged in even if I want to. And when we get back to the house at night, then...
And does it make you nervous out there?
No, it's so nice.
I'm telling you, it takes me 2 days.
Yeah.
Leaving the country in a 7-hour time difference. I've been to Scotland and Ireland, and for the first 2 days, I'm just managing things. And then by the third day, I'm like, oh, here I am, out of country. When we talked last night, Jeff and I love going to Colorado. We love hiking. Well, it gets to be a certain elevation, and my service is gone. And so I love being at that elevation. And so hiking, and I don't want to be on a trail in Colorado texting and making deals. I'm there for the scenery, and it's not safe. In the hikes that Jeff likes to lead me on. There's exposure there.
You kind of need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not that, to be clear, it's not that I don't like my phone ringing and I don't like always being available for my clients. I enjoy it. It's just every now and then you need like a couple of days to just kind of decompress and recharge.
When we're with our clients, when you're at a showing, or when you're sitting at a kitchen table with a seller,
Yeah.
you're completely present with them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Even if you feel your watch going off, your phone going off, you are there to spend time with them and to give them your attention. I feel like every other industry and professional gets to do that on the weekends and holidays and be present with their family or with their book or with their children, grandchildren. So it seems like the only way we get to do that is if we say, sorry, I'm out of town, I'm out of country,
Right.
I have no service. But, and for emotionally and just to, everybody needs to be rejuvenated and revived at times, no matter what they're doing.
Did you have a tough time when you got into real estate? Like you just mentioned, for our clients, we are totally present. Like if I go for a listing appointment, my phone will be in my pocket. I can feel it buzzing. I turn it down before I go in, so it's not going to ring or buzz or I can feel it in there, but I don't check it. I don't do anything. I'm right there and I'm with my clients. But then when I go home and it's like 6:45 and after just a long and exhausting conversation about what's for dinner, we finally decide on something and we're eating dinner and I'm there with my family and my phone goes off and it's a client and I pick it up. Like it took me a while to be like, why am I not offering the same courtesy to my family that I do to my clients? And it took my wife a few times being like, so you're on your phone at dinner? You know what I mean? Like you can't just, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're 100% right. It's just, it's so instinctive that when my phone goes off, I pick it up unless I'm with a client. But we have to like also have that time for ourselves and our family, even if we're not out of the country or on a plane, even if we're just eating dinner. So now it's like dinner table, phone is turned down and it's flipped over, face side down. So it might be buzzing. I'll check it when we get done. But was that a challenge for you at some like early in your career?
The balance of that, the lessons still continue to need to be learned, but that lesson did come for me in a few harsh ways where I missed out on some memorable, like core memory family things because I was chasing a deal or dealing with somebody else's life. I remember my sister-in-law invited all of us. She wanted to go hiking in Starved Rock for the day. And
okay, cool.
Family was coming down from Chicago and up from Springfield, meeting in Starved Rock. And I had somebody call me and want a second showing on a house that was a very attractive price.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be a nice commission for you.
Nice commission.
I got
And I
you.
say, okay, this is the only time they can do it. It's a second showing, so I'll just miss it. Well, she was gathering everybody there to announce her first pregnancy or something. And so everybody was there. I missed the announcement. That person never bought the house. That was the last time I saw them.
Ooh.
They saw the house and they said, yeah, we're not interested in any follow-up conversation, just died on the vine.
Oh, that's rough.
I was so angry at that why didn't I just say no? Because I was chasing the commission. I was working with the buyer and I told her, hey, I'm having a medical procedure done tomorrow morning, and so I'll be out for a day and a half. Got home about 7:30, 8 o'clock from the procedure. I am drugged up. I'm not supposed to be walking. She calls and she says, I have a house I want to see. And I said, I just came out of surgery. And she says, if you don't do it, I'll find another realtor who will.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, heck, at this point, I've had so much time and effort into her. Fine. So I said, Mom, can you drive me to my appointment? So my mom drives me over there, and I let her in the house. And I said, I'm just going to sit on the main floor while you look around. The whole family comes out, and they say, we don't like the neighborhood. So you didn't drive by the house before you dragged me out off my couch, souped up on meds. And so things like that just make me realize that, okay, no, sometimes I do get to come first.
Right.
Me meaning my family and my needs and things like that because I'm not going to be chasing a commission.
I hear you.
Well, that's easier to say in the summer than it is in the winter, though.
Yes. Yes. My, like my wife, on the flip side of that, if it's a second showing on an expensive house, she'll be like, no, I don't care. Well, get out there. Go show it.
Yes.
Go. Get out of here. What are you doing? Yeah.
Well, and like this month, my husband's like, why are you driving to Jacksonville and Lincoln, which is 45 minutes in opposite directions? And I always say, it's January. I can't say no. I don't say no in January. I say no in June, July, and August because, my pipeline is full. But when your pipeline is thin,
you got to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's this time of year, I've learned to be less stressed out because you can be like, oh man, I'm gonna have a terrible year.
Because you're starting from it's a blank spreadsheet. If you're a spreadsheet person.
But after you do this long enough, and you're like, it'll pick up.
It'll pick up.
So Shelley, one thing, and I apologize because every single one of these, I've had somebody on and I've been like, so tell me your story. How did you get into this? And you and I just kind of hit the ground running, talking about stuff. So I do want to know, you've been 20 years in the business now, which is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a tough business to be in for a long time. Most people are out within 2 years?
Over 80%, I believe, was what the NAR standard is right now in the first year. And then in the first 3 years, even more.
Some ruckus out there. Keep it down.
Can they hear this through our headphones?
No, it's okay. So 20 years in the business, what got you into real estate to start with? Well, now I'm excited to hear it.
Okay.
You're already laughing.
Yeah. So, okay. As I said before, my husband was in restaurant business, and neither one of us have college degrees.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
We were both in school. We were married. We had 2 babies, and he was getting promoted up into, and it was a matter of, do I take the promotion, or do I say no to the promotion to go to school to get a good job? I was like, well, here's the job. Go for the job, and we have babies. We need insurance, so work. So to kind of keep our little ones out of daycare, we were opposite schedules for 10 years. I waited tables, and he managed restaurants. Never at the same restaurant, though.
Okay.
And then I was getting tired of waiting on people. I was.
So you got into real estate.
Right. And get into real estate. So I started thinking that, okay, I need something different. I'm done doing this. I want something more. And here's my priority list. I don't want to wear a uniform. I don't want to fill out a resume. And I don't want to see the same people every day. And I don't want to be surrounded by other women.
Okay.
Because women can be catty.
I am staying far away from that.
Well, okay, that was my list. And so, what's that look like? What does that job look like? So that's what I was sort of putting out there a little bit. And
okay.
And that's my phone.
I
I'm
thought
sorry.
we talked about this.
Well, I put it on for an hour. Put it on silent for an hour. Oh, okay.
We're getting close.
So I had a good friend at the time named Carrie, and her dad wanted her to get her real estate license and join his team.
Okay.
And she said, no.
This is here locally?
She says, here, take my friend Shelley. Take her. So she kind of offered me up as tribute. And that was...
Did you have any say-so in this?
Well, so she's like, here. And he's like, you want to talk about it? So we went to lunch. It was Phil Childs. Okay. We went to lunch, and he said, well, this is the business. And I'm like, whoa, that's like a big deal. I don't know. Let me think about it. And it was intimidating. Yeah. But it checked all of my boxes. And so I said, okay, I'm in. So I signed up for my class, passed the test the first time, which that in itself, I'm like, okay, I'm in the right place.
Right.
And when I was taking the class, he was at Remax.
Okay.
And so I was all about going to Remax, big balloon. And then right before my test, Rada Jeezy got him to go over to Aspen Real Estate. And so Phil would be the managing broker when Aspen was, I think maybe it was a year or two old at that point.
Okay.
So when I got my license, I just joined in with Phil, and it was he and I and Aspen. And at that time, we were the only team.
So you were an Aspen agent.
I was an Aspen agent.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And then when we married Real Estate Group, they got our management. We got their name. So it was a well-planned marriage. We were the only team here at that time.
Mm-hmm. It was just you and Phil.
It was just Phil and I, yep. And I was the only Mac user. Which, to Donna's chagrin, any problem that I couldn't do, she's like, it's because you have a Mac.
The only Mac user. That's funny. Okay, and you've been...
So I was on a team with him for, I think, 7 years. And then I was on my own for maybe another 7, 8 years.
Okay.
And then I just needed admin. I got to the point where I could not do any more business when I did everything.
Right.
So I either needed to scale down and be okay with that level of business, hire admin, and so I could do more. I hired several admin, and they came and they went, and I hate interviewing and hiring. I hate firing.
Ooh.
Oh, the tears, the knot in the stomach for days and days when you have to let somebody go. And people left me too.
Ooh.
I wasn't always firing them. Sometimes they're like, yep, I'm not working for you anymore.
You were letting people go for performance reasons or?
Performance reasons. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ugh, boy, that's tough.
It was tough. So my last admin left, and I said, if she ever leaves me, then I just need to be on a team because I can't handle the amount of business I want to do. I need some help.
Okay.
At the ground level. So then I went with one of the Grady girls, Cindy Grady.
And now you're part of the Gradys.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, I am.
An honorary Grady.
I'm an honorary Grady girl.
Yeah, I'm sure you fit in really well on that team, but
yeah. I'm the overthinker that collects coins for the swear jar.
That thing is probably full.
Yes, you too know the Grady girls.
Oh, yeah. No, they're a barrel of laughs. So I'm excited to talk to Missy when I get a chance because obviously they grew up. I mean, they're
in the business.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
and
yes.
They had their own.
They have a story.
Yeah, mm-hmm. yeah. So I'm eager to get into that. So you were, I guess I could do math. You were about 30 when you got in.
Almost.
To real
yeah.
estate, right?
Almost. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And no regrets, apparently.
Well,
seems to be working out for you pretty good.
It is working out. This has the temperament that I need. It has the flexibility, just a
steady paychecks.
Do you get those? Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I got to pay them to myself.
You pay them to yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I am glad, Jeff has a steady paycheck. He's commission-based as well, but it's a different business. And
what's he do now?
So he works for Gordon Food Service.
Okay.
So he sells food to the restaurants instead of him being in the restaurant.
I love GFS.
The store, yes,
yeah.
That is. Have you been there since they've remodeled?
Yes.
It's nice inside.
Why did they have to put a popcorn factory in there? Every time I go in there, I leave with a $9 bag of popcorn that I don't need, but it smells so good.
I go to movies just to get the popcorn.
Oh, I'm a big popcorn connoisseur. Do you have totally nothing to do with real estate? Do you have one of those silicone at-home poppers?
No, I do not pop popcorn at home.
I'm going to send you over a link for this. It'll change your whole life. It's
okay.
It's not quite movie theater, but it is the closest thing. You'll never do like a bag of microwave popcorn again.
You never know where the value of this podcast is coming from, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm going to send you over this stuff. I'm telling you,
Okay.
Total game changer. It's so good. All right, anyhow, popcorn. Yeah, but no, GFS, the best frozen chicken breasts come from GFS. And American cheese, a big block, like a 5-pound block of American cheese. Do you know about that?
I am anti-American cheese.
Why?
I will send the burger back if it has American cheese.
Please tell me why.
I can't tell you. It's not that I'm against the ingredients. It's just the taste. I've never, ever liked American cheese. And I'll say this is one of my husband's very favorite things. And he had an open heart surgery last year, which is what eclipsed our 50th birthdays, was his open heart surgery. And one of the first things the doctor said, he's like, you got to change your diet. No American cheese.
What?
And just like, it's processed. There's nothing real about it.
Well, you're talking about the cheese product. Like the packages of cheese, the individually wrapped slices. That's not cheese. That's cheese product.
But it's labeled American cheese. So are you talking about it?
I'm talking about something real here. Real cheese. Actual real cheese. I'll send you a link. Game changer. Makes the best.
So are you
cheese
buying
sauce.
it by the wheel?
It's like a block. It's a 5-pound block.
What does one do with 5 pounds of cheese?
There's just so much you can do with a 5-pound block of cheese.
Okay, you need your own American cheese recipe book.
It's true. It makes the best horseshoe cheese sauce. You like horseshoes?
No. No.
What?
I cannot tell you. I don't know. I have never
Shelley.
gotten into that. Now, obviously, I'm not a Springfield
hour
native.
2, we're going to talk about how you need to. Hold on, you're not a Springfield native.
I am not a Springfield native.
Where
no.
are you from originally?
Northwest suburbs, Elgin, St. Charles
Really?
area. Mm-hmm. Jeff and I both. We went to high school together.
Aw.
Well.
So how'd you end up here?
Well, he was a student at Eastern University, and then we got married, and we were both there. And he was working at Jimmy John's and going up the ladder of Jimmy John's. He was manager of the year one year, won a Harley Davidson.
What?
Mm-hmm, which he never saw because I said no.
Good.
And he was a reckless. Caution is not in my husband's DNA. So I'm like, this is not good. So anyway, he and his managers were going to franchise Jimmy John's. And Springfield at that point did not have anything delivered except pizza.
Yeah.
So there was an emptiness. So we had the building, we had everything else. We were franchising Jimmy John's. Well, the deal went south in a lot of bad ways. And so since everything was already done, they just decided to make their own restaurant, and they opened Bread Stretchers.
Oh, bread stretchers.
Yes.
I loved bread stretchers.
Yes.
Wow.
We had the first one opened up right where, what's the restaurant on with the elk burgers?
Oh, Westwood's Lodge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Their first
should know
kitchen.
That. They used to sponsor my radio show for several years when I was on the radio.
I see them all of the time. I drive by. I know the name, just brain fog. But
good horseshoes there.
Good horseshoes, do they? Well, they serve their elk burgers without American cheese.
Oh, okay. Good to know. All right.
But they opened a kitchen there, and then they were downtown on 4th Street.
Okay.
And
yeah. That's the one I knew about.
So I was about to have our second baby, and I would not move until she was born, until we had our first follow-up. So they were waiting to open for Abby to be born, and then I went to my 4-week checkup. Did the doctor say she's okay? She had some issues, which I had to transfer that medical stuff to Springfield. But I came home from that visit, and the U-Haul was packed, and he moved us to Springfield, and I had never been here before.
Wow.
Never. And we moved into a duplex where the other side was shared with the other 2 bosses, the other 2 owners, and their girlfriends, and then Jeff and I on one side with our 2 babies.
It's fun. And you were like, this place is great.
That's well, for the first few months, we
I
had
don't
one
much
car.
care for horseshoes, but I'm gonna stick this out.
We had one car. He was working 80 hours a week. I would take him to work, and then I would just go back and forth to the hospital for the baby and I. And I sort of knew my way to 3 places for the first few months of being
crazy.
here.
That's crazy. Yeah. And now, you know this place.
Yes. Yes. Now I know the dark alleys and.
So then, okay, and I've kept you for an hour, so I promise I won't keep you too much longer. Mm-hmm. But knowing that you're not from here originally, how hard was that then to like start building up some clientele for real estate? Because for me, I've grown up here my whole life here. I've got connections everywhere. Like I know a lot of people here, and I leaned on that. My sphere of influence was very, very big. So that's how I was able to get going, is I had a lot of people who already knew me who were willing to give me a shot as a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. But you didn't know anybody, right?
No, moving in, I didn't know anybody, and most people my age were in a very different lifestyle. I mean, right. I was 23, married with 2 kids, and usually I am another 23-year-old's cautionary tale. So So it was, we moved, we got involved into a church, and it's really easy to make friends over the heads of babies. Yeah. And people with other babies then invite you over. And so, we got involved in groups and kind of found a second family here because we moved away from all of our family. And then my friends that I had were very supportive of me in real estate. I just thought they'd kind of stand back and say, let's see if you know what you're doing here. But they didn't. Their confidence in me probably kept me going more than what I could muster for myself, right? And so they referred, they helped, they, praised and applauded. And
it's amazing how that works.
Oh, you just, when you have your tribe, man, they make such the difference.
I remember when I first started here, I was here at the office like every day trying to absorb as much as I could, and we were doing like training, from contract to closing, stuff like that. We were doing this stuff. I believe it was over in the annex building now. But anyhow, I remember Mike Busher saying one time, and at that point I think he'd been in the business 25 years. And he said, like, I've been in this for 25 years and you just started, but everybody like would rather work with you than me. Mm-hmm. Even though, you don't know what you're doing. And I've been doing this forever. Even though
you're green from head to toe.
Yeah, they would much rather work with you because they already know you and they're comfortable with you. Mm-hmm. And so that's how this works. And you just need those people to give you a shot to get started, and then it snowballs from there.
My first few deals were for other servers, and that was back in the day when we could do stated income loans.
Stated income loans.
Stated income loans. If you are a tip-based income, and not everything you makes it to your tax returns, then the bank would say, okay, well, how much do you actually make? And they would use that information and go ahead and give you a loan. And that's how I got some of my servers into their houses. They don't, post 2008, we don't do those anymore.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that went down before 2008 that thankfully are no longer happening. But all right, I'm sure you got stuff to do. We can.
Do you have another question? We can wrap up, or we can go one more round.
So I don't come prepared with questions, believe it or not. I just like to talk and then see where it goes. But I will ask you, like, what we have, like 500 some agents
across all of
in our area,
counties.
Generally, mm-hmm. Right? In our central Illinois area, there's a lot.
I thought we were like 260 or 300. Maybe that's just
Springfield. That's our office.
Okay, that's just
I'm talking
office.
Just real estate agents.
Sure.
In
capital
we'll
say somewhere
area.
Close to 500.
Something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, there's a lot of us. It's a competitive business. Like, do you find it hard? Like, are you constantly, like, okay, how do I stand out from my competition? Like, how do I, because I don't know, that's something I always wrestle with in my head, is like, okay, what can I do that's different? I mean, you can't check in at closings and post your listings on social media, like everybody, it's so saturated, everybody does it. Like,
It's an interesting question, because when somebody says, well, how are you different?
right.
Well, none of these other people have ever been my realtor. I don't know how they do business. I don't know what they say and what they don't. I'm not privy to the conversations that they have during our transaction when they're talking to their client.
Yeah.
So unless you start off on a team where you are able to soak in and listen or shadow, I mean, that's the best thing. If you're starting out real estate, sometimes a team is not in your best interest, but if you can find people that you can shadow and listen to, but otherwise you don't know what anybody does. So you're trying to stand out, but you don't know how to do that.
Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah, there are, I think a lot of the things that I am trying to put into my business now are things for me, because this is what I want their experience to be with me.
Right.
And I don't know how anybody else does their business. I do know that there are some people who don't try that hard, which makes me think, why am I trying so hard? If I only have to be better than that, the lowest common denominator,
right.
And there are a lot.
Yeah.
But then there are some people that are just stellar. And I hear them talk and, kind of, even at the closing table or something, and that's kind of the only time we get to see that agent interact with their clients. And sometimes like, ooh, I'm taking that one, putting that one in my pocket.
Oh, yeah.
That was excellent. So for me, how this makes me feel professional. This is going to make it easier for them to work with me. That has been my mantra, is can I behave and function in a way it makes it easy to work with me.
Yeah.
Whether that's the title company, the bank, the other agent. When I text people and I say, hey, I don't know, I need to know the age of the roof. Okay, I'm going to give them the address, because maybe in your head you don't remember which deal you and I have going, or which house we're talking about, because we are constantly talking to how many people.
Oh, yeah.
On how many different platforms.
Yeah, and it depends the time of year.
While shoving a McDonald's in our mouth, driving down the highway, late to an appointment. So
if it's January, you can just be like, what's the age of the roof?
That's right.
If it's May, you have to be like, hey,
That's right.
I don't know if you know this, but you and I have a deal going on right now.
Remember me? Yeah.
No, that's a really good point, is we don't know how the other agents are conducting their business.
We really don't.
We see what we see, and, we see them posting online and this, but it's like, we don't really know what it's like when they go on a listing appointment and what they say they bring to the table, and what, so we don't really know how to stand out from our competition necessarily. It's just like, when I know when I go in, I've had people like, okay, so why should I hire you then? It's like, no, because I'm good at this.
Because I want
to. Yeah, right. Yeah,
because you want to.
Yeah, right. Like,
whenever I've had the guts, and it hasn't been that many times, to ask somebody, why didn't you choose me? It's never because they had a better presentation. It was, I know them from this, and they were my mother's realtor, or it's something a lot of times outside of my control.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said, well, they had a better presentation than you did, which I'm sure that has been the case, but
right.
That's, like I said, I don't ask everybody who doesn't choose me why they didn't. I just...
Like, do you go over with, like, a presentation, like a whole big,
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to have one on the iPad that I would go through and show up, and I'd have all these scripts, Buffini. I would going through Buffini and talking through the points that he tells us to talk through and how to say them. And then I realized that most listing appointments that I go on, they just want to know what they need to do to get ready for market.
Yep.
How long will it take them to sell the house, and what it will sell it for.
Yeah.
So, the presentations are in the bottom of the drawer, all dusty, but I feel like it will not be very long. Those will be needed.
To bring those back
again,
out.
Bringing them back out.
I've always, and I did those courses too when I started, and I'm not going to say anything bad about them. I think it's super helpful, and that guy obviously knows a lot of what he's talking about, and it's a lot of good info in there, but I never felt like it fit my personality.
Sure.
Like, I've always felt like when I go over to talk to somebody about listing their house, I just want to get to know them. And that's it. You know what? I want to get to know their story, who they are, why are they selling, what do they need, and then we kind of get into it. It's like I want to establish a personal connection first, so they see me as a person who wants to help them and not a salesperson.
So it's that step one.
Yeah.
But then it's how we get to the step two is how, now that we have a rapport, how then can I prove to you that I know what I'm doing and I'm the professional? And so when I have to have a difficult conversation with you, you're going to trust me.
Yes.
And trust me, number one, that I'm the professional, I know what I'm doing, and I'm telling you what the market is saying if we're talking seller specific.
Yes.
But number two is trust me that I am not doing this deal for me. I am manipulating, or I am navigating
there it is.
Through.
Better word.
Yes, manipulating is not the word I want to use. I'm navigating through the details that we have through this process so that you get what you want,
right,
which is what you hired me for, which is what I want for you too.
Yeah.
And trust me.
Yeah, trust me. I've done my research.
Trust me over all of the people that you've known for years, no matter what they tell you, should be happening. And
well, everybody's got so many people in their ear. Well, yeah, my cousin said this, the lady down the road said that, and this and I always bring recent comps and sales, what's on the market, what is just sold, and we just flip through and say, listen, look at this house.
Do you bring them in paper? Do you print them out?
Yeah, I print them out with pictures and everything.
Okay.
And everything, so they can see, like, this is the inside. This is what it all looks like. It sat on the market this long. It went for this. Like, you got a nice house. It's nicer than this one, but not quite as nice as this one. It's
right.
It's a simple formula, really, if you just look at that, right? And so then you have to have the conversation. I always ask people this. All right, so like, there's two different kind of trains of thought. One, you wait for somebody to buy your house, or two, you sell your house. Mm-hmm. Because, a lot of times people want this, well, let's just list it up here and then we'll see.
And we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yes. I want to give myself some room to, you want to wait for somebody to buy your house. Mm-hmm. We can do that. We can wait. Maybe the right person will come along and the stars will align and they'll give you what you're asking. Or we can sell your house, which I think is why you called me. Mm-hmm. So let's sell it. Because realistically, looking at all this stuff, you need to be here, and then we're going to get the buyers in, and we're going to get you closer to what you want. And a lot of times, I feel like when I break it down like that for a seller, it makes more sense. Like, you're waiting for somebody to buy your house.
Right.
Like, I've got a guy who's one of my best friend's dad, and he's an old school guy. He's got his house on the market for sale by owner right now. Mm-hmm. Just waiting for. I can
do this on my own.
Yeah, I had a conversation. He told me what he was asking. I was like, where'd you get that number? He's like, right up here. I'm like, okay. He goes, I just thought maybe some rich grandpa would drive by and want to buy it for his grandkids or something. And I was yeah. And he's a great guy. I love him.
So your target audience is one.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I went over and met him, his wife is there too, and she's in the corner just shaking her head like, yeah. And I'm just, so I talked to him a couple days ago. I told him, I said, when you're tired of waiting for somebody to buy it, let me know and I'll sell it.
Well, and
he started laughing. Yeah, okay, all right, I got you.
Once we get the price and we go on market, And in this day and age, they're generally selling pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But hearkening back to before, when it was months, weeks, months, sometimes even
Used
up
to be
to
the
a
norm.
year.
Yeah.
You take it off for 90 days, put it back on to,
Oh, man.
right? So then we're going back to our marketing and our constant communications. And hey, I've not forgotten about your house. We haven't had a showing in 3 weeks, but I'm still working. So it's having those conversations, and them still believing that you're working for them.
Yes.
And then once they get under contract, and between contract and close, there's one of three things that can happen. Actually, 1, 2, or 3 things. Something can go wrong with the people, the property, or the process.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And we've had the deals where all 3 of them are difficult. And if it's the people, maybe it's the buyer, maybe it's the seller, maybe it's the agent. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe it's the agents who don't pick up their phone, who don't know, who are over emotional, who don't know what they're doing and therefore don't understand what needs to be done. All of those things. But we, the agents, can be just as destructive in a deal than anybody else. It could be the banker, the inspector, the appraiser, or the property is the problem. Needs a new septic line, right? You heard me dealing with one. I need a house painted in January. Anybody?
By tomorrow?
By tomorrow. I just need a quote. Anybody? You'd think the lender was, on the West Coast or something, that, hey, we're in Illinois. It's snow and it's cold, but no. So when we are navigating through the people, the process, and the property, we ask for them to trust us over and over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, and, hopefully at the end of it, they are happy that they did.
Right.
Right?
Right. Well, when you both come out of the deal muddy, scraped, and bloody, and, you come out of that closing just a mess.
We
and you're
did it. Yeah.
Let's not talk for a while. Okay. Hey, we're friends now, but we need some space from one another.
Shelley, I got to let you get out of here. This is, I think, the longest running one ever.
Yeah.
And you got a deal that you got to work on so you can close tomorrow.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for doing this. This was so much fun. I'm
fun.
glad that after my month-long hiatus to enjoy family and holidays and stuff, that you were the person that came into this.
That's sweet.
With me.
I hope you have a good year.
I hope you do too.
Thank you.
I think I will.
I'm ready for it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So good luck with everything. And thank you again. And I'll have this up soon and you can share it.
Will do.
Tell all your friends.
Tell both of them.
Are you going to be like Coker's? I'm never listening to this.
I will never listen to this.
Are you serious? You should listen to it. You did good.
I'll have my kids listen to it and they'll be truthful.
See you later.